Hey guys, it's Haus from the install bay. We have a Hyundai Veloster here. Mike from Texas brought it in,
so stay tuned.
Okay, so we've pulled all the seats out of the car, both front and back. We've removed all the back panels. The reason why we've done that is that we're going to go ahead and dynamat all this area here because he has a giant bandpass 15 that he's putting in and doesn't want all this to rattle. Plus we need to get underneath this seat right here because that's where the factory amp is, and we're going to hide the crossovers there. So for this install, he's providing us with his own amplifiers. We have a battery and we have 2 fans. And this is where the spare tire would go if he would have had a spare tire. He doesn't have one, so we're gonna mount all this stuff in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this shape out of plastic so that we can then put it in the trunk, figure out how we want to arrange our amplifiers and battery and fans, and get it wired up. Alright, so now we have to figure out how we want to attach these bad boys. Battery's gonna have to like flat like this because we don't have a ton of height. So now that we have the interior out of the car, Fernando's going to go ahead and start on the doors. I'm going to go over to the passenger side where that amplifier was. We're going to tone and see what's going on with the speakers and write down some wire colors and get all that straightened out. Alright, so we have the amplifier removed. We're looking at the factory wiring harness. What we want to do now is use a tone generator to figure out what speaker is what. We're going to write that information down here so that we have it. Okay, so by toning them, we found out that there's actually 6 channels of sound in this harness. There's the two rear speakers, as well as tweeters and front mid-range. So that's good because we're going to need that for the install we're doing. Now what we want to do, now that we know what is what, unfortunately we don't have a plug that's going to be able to plug in this to repin. So there again, sometimes even though I don't like to do it, we're going to have to cut this harness. Now what we want to do is do a phase check on it to find out which one of these is positive and which one of these is negative. For generating the signal, we're going to use this guy right here. This is a PT9A. You can get these at Mobile Solutions. What this does is this creates that cool tick-tick sound that we've used before. Go ahead and put it in here. And we're going to use our cool $8 phase detector and go to the speaker and figure out which one's positive. So how that works is you just press this button here and it'll light up green if it's in phase and red if it's out of phase. In this case, we guessed right. So what we call number 4, because this is the passenger rear, we call that number 4. Looks like brown is positive and white is negative. So we're going to go ahead and do that on all these speakers. So what we've gone ahead and done here is we've mounted them in the order they're going to be in the car. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, driver's front, passenger front. So they're all set and ready to go. We have the 2 factory bolts that this can screw down to. Alright, so we have our fans mounted, we have our location for the battery. We've drilled a hole where the spare tire lock would be so that we can screw this whole thing down. The battery's basically going to sit like this. So now we just need to screw the amps in and start wiring this bad boy up. install, he's doing some JL coaxials in the rear. But those coaxials have an outboard crossover that we want to mount underneath the seat. Now, because it's a Veloster, it's a 3-door, so the driver's side, that's not going to be a problem. We can run a wire from that tweeter over to this crossover. But for this door, it's going to be an issue because there's only one wire going into the door. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and pulled the harnesses to take a look at them and see what they look like. And then we've gone onto our shelf and matched those up to a wiring harness that looks very similar, which in this case just happens to be a Kia harness. It's a BH01003. Now it had pins, female pins that matched up to the female pins that were in the harness, and then we used the male version to get the male pins. So now we've extended those wires. Now we can go ahead and clip these back in. So we've gone ahead, instead of having to drill a hole through, we've made it removable so that if God forbid anything should happen to this door, all you have to do is unplug it. Fairly simpler install than drilling a hole through it. Although some of you like to drill holes, perfectly okay, that would have worked. In this case, it's still fully functional now and we're good to go. So we'll go ahead and finish running this wire. And then this wire is set so when Fernando gets over here, he can run it and hook it up to the new tweeter. So for this install, he chose the 4200 NEX. We're going to use the 957350 Metro dash kit. Thing about Metro kits is that they make this hole a little bit bigger than it needs to be so that you don't have any problems when this opens and closes. The downside to it is that you have a gap here and here, and if you're not real careful you're going to see it. We like to take this weather stripping, it's a black weather stripping, and put it on the top and bottom of the radio. this eliminates that possibility of you seeing through the dash kit. Now, because these two pieces aren't connected, at this point I like to take the radio and test fit it in the dash before all the wiring and all that crap is in there, just so I can make sure this lines up good. So for this install, we're going to use the PAC Audio Hyundai Veloster kit. It's the RP4.2-hy12 and a BAA40 antenna adapter. Now this should allow us to retain the factory aux, steering wheel controls, and USB. Before you get started with one of these, you always want to set the dip switches for the steering wheel control. Now this particular harness is going to allow us to retain the factory backup camera. It's going to allow us to retain the factory auxiliary. This is the USB adapter. Alright, let's cut all this tape off and make it look pretty. Now he's adding a front-facing camera as well as the 2 fans and 2 amplifiers. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 relays in, one for the remote turn on and one for the accessory. So what we got going on here is we got a pigtail output here. This is going to be for the front camera to power that up. We have a remote turn on pigtail over here. We have the radio harness. We have the factory backup camera, steering wheel controls for the Pioneer, as well as we've converted the RCAs over to an 1/8 inch so we can plug that into the back of the Pioneer as well. And then of course we still have the factory USB adapter. So what we found is there's a bolt located up underneath here, and we were able to make this L plate here out of 1/4" ABS. Stuff is super rigid. We'll be able to bolt this in. This is going to attach to this panel just like this. So what we're doing here is we're testing the camera, make sure it works. Then also this camera has backup lines and reverse image because it's a backup camera, not a front-facing camera. So we want to cut these and make sure here that it's going on the right side because we don't want to put it in. Now the nice thing is if we were to, the 4200 has the ability to switch it in the software. But if you can do it hardware-wise, it's always a plus. All right, so we've got the camera plate all made up, got the camera mounted. Let's go ahead and put it in the car. the ever important part of setting the game. We know the Pioneer puts in 38. We're going to go ahead and set the highs and the low amplifier. Tools like the DD1 are extremely helpful for setting up a system. However, you still need to use your ears, get in and do, a sound check and, maybe a little bit of gain overlap, like turn the rears down because they're just too loud. you know, maxing everything out isn't exactly always the best thing. It's just nice to know if you set it up that these are the maximum settings they can be, and you can always go down from there if necessary. So now that we have the gains and the amplifier set, we're going to go ahead and do the auto EQ. A lot of you guys ask, hey, can I adjust the auto EQ after it's already done? Yes. We like to do it early so that we can get an idea of where it needs to be, and then we can change it from there.
Just unlock your car.
Alright, the measurement's done. Let's the fun begin.
Oh baby, 'cause I really don't care where you are. I just wanna be there where you are.
Holy fucking shit. That's fucking loud.
Kidding.
So for this install, it involved products that we don't normally deal with. We don't sell JL. He wanted JL. So a lot of the times we don't show those things when we're doing installs like this. In this case, of course, we did. And in previous videos, you guys have been like, hey, what woofers were those? So this was a band pass with 115 by this company here, Toby Speakers out of Texas, which is where he's from. So just in case you wanted to know, check out Toby Speakers. For 115, the size of this thing is insane.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. So check that out. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Final thoughts?
That was really good.
Yeah? Tired?
Yeah, I'm so
So tired. You guys also like to ask how long do these things take. This one was a 2-day job. This was fun. I'm glad he made the trip. I hope he really enjoys the system as much as we did tuning it.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty good. Actually, it sounds real good. There's no pretty about it. Well, it's pretty looking.
Yes.
Sounds great. It's pretty. Alright, who cares? I'm exhausted. Go ahead.
Alright, so thank you for watching. You guys can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
And we do these
5 days a week.
We don't do these 5 days
No.
a week. Okay. Well, you guys have a great night as usual. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, please leave them down below. We greatly appreciate it. We'll help you in anything we can. Have a great night. We will see you later next time.
Bye.
Wave to the camera.
Oh yeah, no, that's okay.
You want to be in your own Cars video?
Oh yeah, there.
Yeah, there you are right there. See? Smile. Yay. Wave. Wave to yourself. There we go. Hold on. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got a nice setup here. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, this is doing this type of is not easy.
Yeah, I figured it wouldn't be.
Everyone's like, you need to do more of these, and we're like, do you know how hard this is?
You wanna come and help?
There's that camera there.
Yeah.
There's this camera here. We have 2 GoPros and an iPhone 6 that we use, iPhone 6 Plus, that we use, that we can do time lapse with, that we move around. So like, there's the GoPro up in the back there that you probably didn't see.
No, I didn't.
That one's just on constant time lapse. So there's 5 cameras going, and we just move them around depending on where we need them. Shit, there's like 100 gigabytes worth of data to do one of these. It takes 4 days to edit this.
I was wondering how long it took you to
Yeah,
do that.
these videos, those 8 minutes of that takes like 4 days. Yeah,
crazy.
everyone's like, do more. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Let's just do an unboxing.
That's because they're awesome. Y'all,
Yeah.
The videos, y'all, I love you guys. You're awesome. Big fan.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll let you get back to work.
Okay.